So, welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the first session. I certainly did. This is slightly different topic, but obviously, because it's AI, there's probably going to be some overlap. Same idea. We're in a bar, having a pint of Guinness in front of an open fire. I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves, and then I'm going to ask Martin the first question, and then we take it from there. So, starting with Ruben. Ruben, who are you?
I'm Ruben.
Yes.
I'm a Deputy Minister of High-Tech Industry of Armenia with the engineering background and project management in engineering companies and telecom companies with the focus on complex products serving different regions in EMEA, in AMER, in APAC. But now I'm leveraging my skills in government for the country as a Deputy Minister. And that's it.
Martin.
Martin Galistyan, Governor of the Central Bank. What else? Sometimes sitting on this stage under these beautiful lights, but no more than that, so we'll talk about it later.
Hi everyone, my name is Zara Ohenyan. I am the National Program Manager at EBRD. I am the Head of Advisory Services. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Armen Baldirian. I'm President of Union of ICT Entrepreneurs. And also I am founder and CEO of Unicomp, which is system integrator. And also I am founder of Integral, which is chip design company.
And last but not least, George.
My name is George Chaparian. I also come from Silicon Valley, Silicon Mountain, Silicon Valley. This is good. Thank you for being here. I'm the CEO of a nonprofit organization. It's called Open Compute Project, founded by Facebook Meta. And I'm here to hopefully give something back to Armenia because I'm Armenian in nature.
Okay, thank you. Martin, we prepared, and the first question is there a risk to the financial security in Armenia because of AI? Boom, shakalaka.
Okay, so first of all, it's great to be with you all on this panel. But if you allow me, I'll take a liberty to say a couple of words before turning to financial industry in Armenia. So picture a world where, and I'm reading, machines are artists, storytellers, or even economists, producing content that imitates human intelligence. That is what Alan Turing was dreaming about in 1950s. Now we're probably living during the era which his dreams come true. And then the major question that we're currently having is two-faceted. As like with every single technology, you have positive and negatives. It's like a double-edged sword, right? So the question now for the humanity is, and I'm not going too far, like 350 scientists to sign the letter of AI extinction and all these things, but not that far. So can we benefit from AI? And the benefits are net positive at the end, which means that the productivity that we're going to gain with this type of revolution, which is happening now, like printing press, industrial revolution, and many others, now we're living through revolution. And is it possible to estimate whether the positives are more than the negatives of the AI? And then many people try to do that, including the Nobel laureates like Daron Acemoglu and Simon Johnson recently in their work. Their prediction or their calculations are more moderate, and they think that during or coming 10 years or decade, the productivity gain from AI would be quite moderate, like 0.2, 0.3%
That low.
productivity gain per annum
Okay.
for coming 10 years. Goldman Sachs will tell you that it will be much more. For example, United States might even double the productivity that they are facing. At the same time, there are multiple risks, and now turning to the risks, for the financial sector in particular, I'll try to give you kind of blocks which we can discuss later on. One risk will be the integrity of data.
Yes.
What do we get in our large language models? Because garbage in, garbage out doesn't help much. Second thing, how do we keep the data security things? Okay, can we use cloud, or it should be only on servers that we possess at our premises, and so on and so forth, like policies for data protection. After that, it comes the modeling part. For example, if you can imagine the world where all the financial institutions in Armenia use the same large language model algorithms.
Yes.
And then there is a bias in data. Would it be amplified? Definitely yes. And then correlation creates an insane amount of difficulty for us as a regulator to regulate the system. The third thing would be our ability to forecast plus our ability to execute, because when we are moving from productivity perspective and trying to cut as many people and placing them with robots or algorithms, that definitely means something for the labor market. And then we need to think on that dimension. So challenges are immense. Are we going to face them immediately starting at this point? I think yes, but they will be creeping in. Not like boom shakalaka, as you said, but more on a samba way.
So how are you going to prepare? Because those are some pretty fundamental questions. So what's your view then on how you're going to prepare Armenia for data governance, an AI economist or AI economist from different perspectives? How are you going to manage an economy with those type of challenges?
Yep. So I think it's a very global issue. And I was at Washington at the fund recently, and there is a whole discussion around it. I think IMF tries to lead the process because it's not the case for one country or a region. It's a very global issue. How do we gonna restrain somehow the development of AI, which could lead us to unethical part of the business? So I think there should be a global task force, probably at the G20 level. I'm not very much hopeful of that because we bureaucrats are not very successful at solving the problems. And this is probably one of the worst public policy problems that I can ever think of.
Yeah.
But I think there should be forces merged, like European Union does a lot of things on data privacy, data protection. Then we need international organizations to step up on the playing field, and then we'll see what's going on. I mean, Armenia alone, very difficult to imagine what can we do, but we could be part of the global dialogue, definitely.
Because there's obviously geopolitical dimensions in this as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, George, we just had a brief conversation at the bar, not drinking Guinness, but coffee. What's your view on open as a way of approaching this problem?
From investment point of view of AI, what OCP brings in, it's a very good value proposition for Armenia to use, in my humble opinion. And this is why I'm here to hopefully put a seed in Armenian companies to use what we do. As an example, we work with all the hyperscalers. If I say hyperscalers like Google, Microsoft, Meta, AMD, NVIDIA, ARM, we work with all of them. That way, what we do is put commonality in the infrastructure of the data center. So it's more about the data center. And we do it sustainably. We do it with modularity so that, you know, people can, we don't do specification, but commonality in terms of let's say, form factor of a server, form factor of a rack position, the power requirement, the cooling requirement, the infrastructure requirement, even sustainability all the way to building the infrastructure, the concrete. So we do that in a way that it is consumable by everybody. We do it openly. That's what open means. And we have a marketplace, very unique value proposition that we put all the solutions there because it's open. It is done by the community, for the community, and with the help of, let's say, hyperscalers. We take hyperscale innovation to everybody, openly and with a non-profit, non-IP issue.
And ask it in a different way. So would you prefer a open data economist AI or a closed data economist AI? You understand what I'm asking? So do you have an economist that has a...
The economy, from an economy investment point of view, if we're talking about that kind of economy open, I think it's open in a sense that it is already vetted and the cost is taken care of. It is fast time to market. It is cost reduced. It is sustainable. It's open. It's ready. It's a solution is ready. By the community, it's been openly provided in our marketplace. And I want the Armenian companies that have started, or even mature companies like Synopsys, use it for their data center. We are for data center now. I just want to make sure we understand that.
Okay.
It is more servers, storage, networking, connectivity, end-to-end, including facility. And on top of it, if you can put your own solution from a software point of view or running it the way you would like to run it, perfect. So your majority of the work has been done already. So from that perspective, that's the investment if you're talking about. I think this is where we come in with that value proposition.
Ruben, we had a quick conversation on Zoom yesterday to prepare for today, and I asked you the question, what do you want as a question? And I said, listen, how do you think the question, is the AI tech ready for AI? And you went, yeah. But then you said, what does ready actually mean? So is the industry ready for AI? And what does ready actually, define what ready means?
Thank you for the question. Very philosophical and global question. Are we ready for AI or not? We will see. But at least we have to be ready for adapting AI solutions and technology in Armenia. What does it mean? That means that we have to invest more and more into the workforce. Actually, Armenia has a strong workforce and talent pool.
Yeah.
We have very strong engineers, mathematicians, data scientists.
Yeah.
And I think this is the main fundamental for being ready for the upcoming challenges. Another thing that we have is a strong startup ecosystem and presence of multinational companies with strong competencies. And we have many companies which are doing or developing their technologies or products based on AI solutions. So it's not only coming from the universities, but even from the competencies from the abroad, which is very important. And I think the third, so this is for example, the government's initiatives. We are investing and we are putting new programs for providing attractive environment for new startups, for multinational companies, for engaging new employees starting from the universities, for educating them. And we are providing like the autonomy to the private sector. Guys, please come and say, what do you want to learn? Because you know better than government, so you are working with the cutting edge technologies. You have to say us, this is like machine learning, this is data science, we will help you, we will support, we will refund. So I think being ready, this is something that you have to understand what will come in the future. But of course, there are some challenges.
One?
Challenges in terms of infrastructures for now. And we do understand that you should have the strong infrastructure starting from the strong like internet connection, 5G,
Yeah.
6G, etc., etc. You should have like the strong infrastructures for building AI data centers. And the idea of having modular and maybe customizable data centers is a good one because this technology is running very fast. And you will build data center if you will go like, you would like to build a big data center. Until you will do that, maybe that technology will like went and you have to upgrade the system. I think that modular approach is the best one here. And you will learn during building the data center, what else do you need? By building even the small data center, we will force universities, students, teams to play, to work, and to understand how, so this will bring new competencies. And we are ready to invest there as well. Because talent pool, as I mentioned before, talent pool and workforce is the fundamental for having, like, and for being ready for the AI technologies. Another challenges, of course, is the regulations. We have to adapt regulations, policies to the new technologies. If we would like to innovate, we have to be agile. Otherwise, it will be too late. Armenia has a strong potential to become the cluster center in the region. And we are on that way. We have many companies presented in Armenia, leading companies. But again, we always have to remember about the sense of urgency and agility while we are working with the innovation and new technologies.
Ruben. Sorry, Zara. How does the EBRD help Armenia to prepare for the AI that's coming?
Sure, thanks for the question. So EBRD, being a multinational development bank, has expertise which covers a number of markets, different markets, starting from emerging markets and to very well-developed markets. And here I believe our key objective is to bring the international expertise, and we work in a number of directions. Our first objective is to develop the SME ecosystem and individuals SMEs as such, and we strongly believe that the SMEs are the core of any type of businesses, including AI, digital transformation, etc. So our main area that we focus on is the capacity building of the SMEs.
Yes.
And this includes both local and international advisory support to both sides, the demand and supply. In terms of supply, I mean the solution providers, the consultants that can develop AI-driven, AI-powered tools, and the demand side, the SMEs that are on their path of digitalization and need support this. And EBRD's direct support would be the co-financing of similar activities. We had cases where we co-financed 80% of a solution development and integration into an SME. And I believe this is very cherished and appreciated by the SMEs. Also, last but not least, we also support the infrastructures. It's different and on different scale and levels across different countries, of course, but the support, general support and capacity building of the government, the central bank, the incubators, accelerators, all the stakeholders that are somehow connected, right, to the AI and development are also supported by EBRD.
So how AI ready are the Armenian SMEs?
How AI ready? It's different depending on the sector they operate.
Give me percentage. 30%
on a
of the,
scale to 10?
between 1 and 100, 30%, 40%, 60% of SMEs is AI ready.
On average, I would say 40, 50.
That's very high.
Depending on the sector, once again, if it's expert exporting companies in manufacturing, most of them are more or less ready, because if they want to export, this is of course number one opportunity and a benefit if they have already transferred or somehow implied some AI-driven tools, data analytics, risk protection, mitigation, etc. So depending on the sector and how urban or rural they are, the scale would be different. On average, I would say 30-40, okay. I look at Martin,
Okay.
it's 30-40.
Do you think the same, Martin? Percentage of SMEs that are AI ready?
That is a very tough question. I think we need to be very clear on what do we mean by AI.
And ready.
Are they using any tools to extract data and then run the large language models on their data, which will improve their productivity and then help humans to make decisions? I think very few SMEs would use those type of things.
That's what I think too.
I'm not even sure that big companies are using those.
Ruben, you want to? Yeah, please. And then George? No. Sorry. Ruben first.
Just maybe an example. We have a program now, International Acceleration Program with Plug and Play. And 20 startups are passing through that program. I'm having weekly meetings with mentors. Yeah. And actually the mentors are changing each week from different countries, and my question is the following: how many companies from these 20 startups are doing technologies or developing technologies based on AI?
Yeah.
It's about 7 companies which are producing their technologies based on AI. It's biotech, it's fintech, and in other industries. So I don't know, from 20, like 6 companies with AI solutions. And one more example. So I have asked the UATE Association, please provide me the list of companies from your members, which is, I don't know, 170 or even 90 now. So how many companies providing solutions or tools based on AI? We need to talk with them. And about 35 companies were mentioned. So we are going to meet and we will check. Is it real AI or is it linked to some tools that are already available? So we can calculate, like from 230 companies, what is the percentage? And from 20 startups, 5 or 6 startups, what is the percentage? Not so small, I think.
Oh yeah, but it's a pretty fundamental question, because that's the middle layer in your economy. I'm pretty sure we had the people on the panel. The large companies are prepared, the startups are prepared, but the laggards are always the SMEs in the middle. And that's the real challenge, I think, that we're facing. Not only in Armenia, but all over the world. Armin, you're an SME. Talk to me why you decided to. I know I worked with you on a Unicom, but you invested in a new company. Why did you do that? And you can talk in Armenian if you want, if that's easier.
Ron, if we are looking to worldwide situation, what's happening now? There is a huge gap between developed countries and developing countries, such as Armenia. And when we are using AI tool, this gap will grow very quick. So this is opportunity for Armenia, and this is this is worldwide trend. So I don't like to speak about challenge. I'd like to speak about opportunities.
Okay.
Because if Armenia can be successful in developing and using of AI tools, it will be successful and our economy will grow. So I see many opportunities in Armenia because we have talents. We start to develop ecosystems for startups, and we have now developing strategy with Ministry of High-Tech Industry. This is very good opportunity for Armenia to grow to right direction. So And there is another opportunity, presence of some talents, some ecosystems like many big chip design companies presence in Armenia, and we know that microelectronics and chip design is a fuel for AI. So this is a very good opportunity, and I am being a long time in tech, and you know, more than 30 years, and I feel that now there is a tech cheap war worldwide.
Yes.
And Armenia have got opportunity to use this situation if we are do the right steps, and which is very important, quick steps, we can success. That's what I am doing, and I like to advise my colleague to do the same.
Thank you, Armin. Sarah.
Sure. I just don't want to sound too optimistic and don't to put any factual.
No, it's okay. No.
I just want to bring an example why I think that Armenia, compared to other countries of operations that EBRD works in, is at a higher level. We have this Star Venture program that currently operates in 25 markets. And we did a regional call, where we just asked high-tech startups to apply, and we provide them with advisory support, funding, etc. And we received, just in 1 month, we received more than 50 valid applications, and we really had trouble of shortlisting 12. And now they will pitch, and eventually we will have to lower the list to 5. We will just select 5. Just for a comparison, the same call was done in our neighboring countries, in European countries, in Central Asia, in SAMED. And even in SAMED, which is considered to be quite developed, they received the country with the highest number after Armenia was 20 applicants. And they ended up with 3-4 shortlisted ones. So this is just a comparison why I'm always being optimistic and enthusiastic about SMEs and private sector in Armenia.
Okay, because I was actually going to say, listen, everybody does competition, but that's an impressive number. Do you use AI in EBRD? This is a side question.
Internally?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are very cautious, of course, being a multinational institution with all this data privacy protection. We even have this term, it's called ethical and resilient AI usage. We have dedicated tools that we are allowed to use, so it's not everything we can, of course, imply in day-to-day work, but we definitely use it mainly for data processing, because you can imagine the amount of data a banker has to deal with at any stages of project initiation, implementation, monitoring and evaluation especially. So here definitely we use AI. We use it for the automation of the repetitive tasks, such as eliminating the repetitive entry tasks or reporting. And we also use it for the risk mitigation. In terms of it, we use it for modeling, like what kind of risks can be associated with this or that project. So yeah, we do it.
Same question for you, Ruben. Do you use AI in the department? No. Okay, that's a no. Martin, do you use AI?
We do. We do for the analysis. Because I'll give you an example. We just subscribe to ChatGPT and other instruments that could be used. And then, for example, if we need to change the regulation, usually the way it goes, we study the international experience.
Okay,
and then based on the international experience, we're trying to tailor it for the Armenian needs. Now the time which was taking 6 months is shortened by like 4 months because our people could use and they augment their own skills with AI, but it doesn't mean that we're firing people, but we're trying to incentivize people to use AI, because at the very end of the day, the judgment is theirs. So the call is for the person, not for the algorithm.
And just on the follow-on, do you then sandbox the whatever regulation you're thinking about and test the potential implications as well? So you have the predictive modeling on top of your legislation. Is that something you already use?
Yeah, thinking about sandbox, we do that as well, but we haven't implemented successfully yet. So we're in a process of trying to get it there.
Okay. George,
Yes.
you work with lots and lots of the big boys in AI. So where do you think this is all going to go, and what should Armenia do?
Come again, please.
So, sorry, you play with the big boys. So you know they're all working on AI. So where do you see AI going from that perspective, and what should Armenia do?
Okay, so I'm going to come back to
Yeah.
what I said. I would like the Armenian companies, whether they're established or they're startups, to utilize actually what OCP does, if it's possible. If you go to our website, you go to our marketplace, to make it actionable, you can see a lot of solutions there already made, ready by the hyperscalers, and it's open for you to use. Basically, startup as a Lego, you can start small enterprise, you can start small startup, let's say data center, and grow it. It's open source, it is not IP contaminated, it's for you to use, but you have to be ready to put resources. It doesn't come free. We don't have resources. You can get the solution, and with your resources, we can help you build it up to the notion that the Armenian companies can use and run, because it is established, it is tested, it's ready. That's why I'm here, to make sure that folks here can utilize our services and we can help Armenia grow. Example, we have a program called OCP Ready. And what is it? It's basically you take the solutions and create an experience center in your data center, create an experience center as an OCP Ready. You come in and look at all the requirements that you need to build up with the equipment that's already vetted, and it's equipment that's already called OCP certified or OCP accepted products. You can put it in as a showcase and start building your infrastructure, your IT data center. But you have to put the resources, you have to have the acumen, you have the manpower, the know-how, but the solution is there for you to take and run, as an example. I hope I was able to answer the question.
But before that, so you're working with all the large companies. What are the issues they're facing in the area of AI? What are the problems that they are facing at the moment?
What are their
problems?
Problems. The major problem of AI is, in my humble opinion, also what I see, especially the big companies, it's adoption scale. The mass scale, the product that they have, they're not able to keep up with it. And the cost of a scale, plus the power consumption. These data centers are humongous in terms of power consumption. And when you have power, the next thing is cooling. Yes. How are you going to cool the data center? So those are the major problems that hyperscalers are facing, like Facebook, Microsoft, and so forth, and Google, they're facing it. So the way to approach this is find the commonalities, find how you are going to really reduce the power with the solutions are coming, and then cooling. One thing is really being pioneered lately is called liquid cooling. It's immersion cooling, immersing the whole equipment in a cooled liquid to make sure that it is cooled. That's how they're cooling the data center. So the other is the whole infrastructure of talking to each other, making sure that the speed of, not the processor of the server, but the speed of the server, it's catching up. Yes. As an example. Those are the problems.
Just on the side, because talk to me a little bit about the chiplets that we talked about.
Oh, chiplets.
Yeah.
What we have done, and you heard before, I think Siemens were talking earlier, the Moore's Law, where every other year the number of transistors will grow. It's coming to a point that it's saturated. It's no more the Moore's Law can apply. Even Moore's Law himself, even Mr. Moore said at one point in time, it's not going to sustain. So what we're doing right now is the whole industry is pioneering this concept of chiplets, which is like small chips with the right interfaces ready as a bag of chips, as a bag of modular chips. You can put them together and create a bigger chip. So that is what now becoming very pervasive in terms of how to cost reduce, move very fast, integrate cost and also time to market, and most importantly, how fast you can deploy. So that's the chiplet technology right now. It's becoming big. Synopsys is using it. Siemens, you heard it, using it. AMD is using it. Except NVIDIA has the big chips right now. Eventually, they're going to use it. But it's becoming very pervasive in terms of all these chips become ready with the right interfaces to put them together, make a bigger chip, bigger solution that you want to eventually accomplish.
Armin, you're nodding your head. That's a good thing, is it?
I think there's many problems. So, I see one of problems, the biggest problem is global problems. Because now I see that every country like to be more more independent in the tech level.
Yes.
So, and that's the problem for global developments. But this is the reality, and Armenia must analyze this reality, and we need to be as free as possible, not independent much for global markets. Mm-hmm. We will consider global market as a market, as our sales market, but we need to provide ready products to global markets. And here is very important cooperation, because AI is very complex thing, and I see we have many elements of AI which are doing in Armenia, but there is no Armenian product in the market. So I think, and here is the role of government. Government must make conditions when Armenian companies can cooperate and create a full product, ready product for global markets. And I think this is also opportunity for Armenia. This is good advantage to do this.
As a side question, the language models that you use, are they English-based or are they Armenian-based? That's just actually, that's anybody who knows that actually.
The language model is Armenian-based or English-based?
My?
No.
AI?
Yeah?
It must be multilingual.
Okay.
Yeah. There is no other choice, because even simple systems are now multilingual. That's not a problem. Language is not a problem. That can be somewhere a mentality, etc. But when we are building AI, it must be machine learning process, so they can adopt easily.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of conversation about, because language is a reflection of a culture, that just a simple translation from English into Armenian doesn't capture a lot of stuff that Armenia is about, and that determines the capability of the AI. It's nearly a side conversation, but it's an interesting one. So, Martin, opportunities in Armenia. And then, what are you going to do about it?
So again, I'll start with a historical note to connect the dots.
Yeah, please.
In 1960s, a program called ELISA was created. That was a precursor of what we know currently as a chatbot.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 decades later, inspired by human brain, scientists created neural networks.
Yeah.
But at that time, neither the capacity of our hardware nor the data supported the revolution that we're currently having.
Yes.
So we're at the very point in time in human history where our software, hardware, and data all support what we call Gen AI or whatever.
Yeah.
So now, how we can use that? For financial sector, there are multiple use cases for that. The obvious one will be, for example, the automation of the back office.
Obviously, yes.
Which gives you kind of a productivity edge. The second one will be using the large language models to give a customized approach to a single customer based on the needs he or she have. Okay? It's like trying to customize the offer that you're gonna come up to the market with. The third thing, which is obviously very popular today, would be compliance and money laundering issues. So you can do fraud detection early on using those large language models, obviously based on the data. So all of those things that I mentioned doesn't necessarily mean cutting the employment or firing the people. What I have in mind is augmenting human capacity with automation and AI to make the decisions that we're making much more productive in a way.
Okay. Ruben, from a government perspective, because you have the next investment you're going to make from a policy perspective are going to be crucial. So where do you think the opportunities lie from your perspective? It's a big question.
So again, as I mentioned earlier, the opportunities are in the talents, in the position of Armenia as a take-up in the region with strong presence of international companies, with education, and with startup culture. So I think that we have to use that opportunity and to be ready for funding, for big funding to infrastructures and again to education and regulations. So, of course, again, there are some challenges, but all these kind of challenges and all these kind of risks, you can change to the opportunity. And the main thing here is to be like transformational leaders in order to lead the teams to adapt innovation and being ready for that. And this is at some point of time, we have to change maybe our mindset to be more agile and to be ready to get and to understand new technologies and innovations. Now we are struggling with some initiatives because they are new. They are new for us, they are new for everyone. This is collaboration with some international companies, with new programs. This is the first time that we are passing through those initiatives. But we have to adapt. Otherwise, we will fail. And by the way, regarding you asked does we use AI in department?
Yeah.
So I think in person, yes. Each person, in any case, they are using AI. Yeah. But from ministry point of view, we would like to pilot a project in the ministry. And the good thing is that in Armenia we have companies which are creating good products, but selling those products abroad to the customers which are not in Armenia. And even they have customers like governments, but not Armenian government. Yeah. Then we started discussions with the private sector and we will have a conversation with them. But we would like to implement a pilot project with, which will include AI. This is for performance-based solutions and for the KPIs inside the ministry. Like, what is the strategy? Then it will cascade down to the goals, up to each employee, and by the end of the year, you will be able to review KPIs of each employee, and you will get the answers regarding not only not only like the performance from the technical point of view or from the activities, but even on a personal level, on behavioral level. Because for us, it's very important to have strong competencies, not only technically, but from behavior point of view. Again, this is very important while we are working with the cutting-edge technologies, and that we have to be ready to adopt all those technologies.
Just following us, and then I will. But so, So you're competing with other countries that want to become exactly like Armenia. So who do you compare yourselves with as the main competitors in this field? Singapore, Ireland? Nobody?
No, of course. So I think we have to compete with our neighbors.
Okay.
First of all. If we would like to compete with Ireland or Singapore or Israel, which did a very strong and strategical decision maybe 40 years ago or 30 years ago, if we made that decision at that time, okay, maybe now we would be able to say that we are competing with Ireland, for example. But they made a decision, and they went against the policies inside the EU, right? In terms of taxes. But now the Ireland is a center in the Europe. The same for Israel. The same for Singapore. So I think that we have there is a strong competition. There is a very strong competition in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Georgia, Turkey, and again, everyone would like to get more competencies into their countries, because everyone do understand that if you would like to be a leader as a country, then you have to invest into the technologies. You have to be first.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
May I
Arman,
answer
yes,
this question? By my opinion, we don't need to compete. We need to learn and cooperate.
Okay.
This is the only way.
That's very sweet.
If we begin to compete, Armenia is no any country can compete to all world. We need to cooperate. And why we can do this? But, for example, in the first panel, we see the Belgian embassy.
Yes.
And in this way, Belgium is doing very well. They are cooperating, and they are doing very big things. So Armenia must learn from such companies like Belgium, Ireland, Netherlands, etc. And we need to cooperate because we have this opportunity, especially in this geopolitical situation when the world is changing, tech market is changing dramatically. There are some good niches when Armenia can fit. And we need to be very quick to fit these niches.
George, where do you see the opportunities?
I'm not, I wish I have a lot of, understanding of, like the gentlemen here, they do about Armenia, but I can have the emotional side and the practical side.
Go emotional first.
We're a surviving, tenacious nation.
Yeah.
I'm proud of being an Armenian in diaspora.
Yeah.
And looking from diaspora to Armenia, I want Armenia to be flourished. And because we have that survival instinct, and I've seen how our people distributed around the world, Armenia can use the diaspora Armenians effectively. That emotional side of me brought me here to make sure that people here utilize what we are doing. To Armin's point, the cooperation, the learning. Not everybody has an opportunity that, let's say, a lot of Armenians in the world had. This country survived, thrived under so many difficulties, and my hats to all of you here. So I'm sorry I'm being emotional.
Not at all, no.
It's imperative to understand that we're here to help Armenia grow. We're here to help Armenia flourish. That surviving instinct, that's the emotional side. The practical side,
please.
It's, you said competition, I was going to say more of learning from best practices.
Okay.
I lived in Singapore. I was fortunate enough to be thrown in Singapore for 5 years. And I've seen that little nation, the dot on the map.
Yeah.
They're incredible in terms of opportunistically utilize the whole world. And I think looking at Armenia, I hope the political environment allows Armenia to grow. I can't comment on that. That's a difficult part. But Armenia can really become another example of Singapore, utilizing the tourism, utilizing the commerce if we can, utilizing the best practices from abroad, and using diaspora as a learning how to really help each other grow the country. One other thing, and I commend the government here of trying not to really suppress a lot of regulation. I think if allow the spirit of entrepreneurship grow, I think that's going to help a lot also establish the foundation. And like I said, I'm here from asking you guys to really come to our website and look at the marketplace and utilize the solutions to start building the infrastructure from a data center, at least that's what I can provide. Thank you.
Okay. Ruben, and just before I just want to, because what struck me from talking to all the policymakers when we're preparing for the panels, a lot of the ministers have a background in entrepreneurship, which is unusual for most policymakers. So it strikes me that there's a huge governance opportunity that doesn't exist in other countries. Sorry, Ruben, you were going to say something.
I just want to say a big thank you to our diaspora.
Oh.
And when I was talking about opportunities, talent pools, workforce, startups, like the huge investment into that is coming from the diaspora. And again, we're even hearing this from different places, not from Armenians, even from the mentors which are working with startups. Access to market, mentorship from diaspora, coaching. And with your help, actually, we are trying to resolve many challenges that we're facing now related to the import issues, export issues. We're working closely with our colleagues from diaspora on creating funds, on building real bridges between, for example, US and Armenia. We are planning to open a technological representative in Silicon Valley next year, and we got the approval from US government for that. We are working closely with our diaspora in France. We are going to visit the, I forgot the name, Sofia Antipolis, for example, which is like Silicon Valley in Europe. So we are working closely, and I wanted to say that within all opportunities, this is one, I think, of the biggest opportunities for Armenia. But you are right that we have to use that connection, and we have to leverage all those skills and competencies more proactively, in a more effective way. And also what I got, for example, from, just an exact example, from Nubar Afeyan, that, guys, I will be successful, or I will be feeling myself successful by the end if I will invest and if I will help to Armenia. Not only by words, but with the real jobs and investments.
Sarah, your view of opportunities in Armenia, and then a particular focus on the rural side, because there's a rural and urban divide in Armenia. So where do you think the opportunities lie?
You're correct. So we're supporting both urban and rural areas. Unfortunately, of course, the urban areas are still predominating in all the sectors, also in tech and AI. But we see a very positive trend, actually, and we also try to support, of course, these rural areas by providing top-ups, more co-financing to the rural enterprises. But we have a lot of work still to do there in terms of raising awareness about these digital tools, etc. Where in Yerevan, for example, they come to us with specific project needs. In the rural areas, we reach out to them just to explain first what can be done, and then try to offer our support. But I also wanted to to finish on a positive note, and because we are on the ground for more than 20 years already in terms of this learning from others, etc. When we just started, literally when we came to the companies and started offering our advisory services, international advisory, most of the entrepreneurs would tell us there's nothing like other Europeans or others on the market can teach us. And in some point, that's true. They know their business better than anyone. But currently, we see a lot of demand of SMEs coming to us with a request with international advisory support, which all signals.
What does an SME need to do to get in touch with you? Just ring you, or is there?
Pardon?
How does an SME, as an SME in the audience, what's the quickest way to get in touch with the EBRD?
How they can come to us?
Yeah, just ring.
Directly, ring, email.
Okay.
Most of the SMEs here know.
We have
know
7
us.
minutes left, so I'm gonna, and it's, so we made a joke, so I'm asking where you think Armenia should invest. So Ruben, I'm not looking for a stock tip, because that was the joke. We're not talking about shares. So where would you invest as a policymaker first? If you had a magic wand, and you had all the money in the world, what would be the first investment you would make? And that's the question I'm gonna ask all of you. Fairy dust, sprinkle over Armenia.
Yes, education, and infrastructures.
Education.
In our regions, in education and infrastructures.
Okay.
Because, again, like universities, research institutes, private sector and government. So we have to close that loop. But for that, we need to invest more and more, and we have to be ready for the strategical investments into the education and infrastructures.
Okay, Martin, same?
So I'll give you an anecdotal evidence among the people that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Usually the driving force of Armenian families are the moms,
Yeah.
like Jewish moms. If you ask Armenian mom, like 30 years ago, what you want your child to be as a professional,
Banker.
the answer would be, without even understanding, either economist or a lawyer or a doctor.
Okay.
Now, if you ask an Armenian mom, what is your aspiration for your kid, it will be, even without understanding, a software engineer.
Okay.
So the supply is there because moms are pushy.
Yeah.
So we need to provide the demand side.
Brilliant. Thank you. Sarah.
Give it a guess, the private sector.
Sorry, say that again?
The private sector. You're asking where would you invest first,
You
right?
would just have
Infrastructure.
you have a magic wand and you can do whatever you like. You can do whatever you like.
No, definitely. I truly believe that private sector is the key and the
But you need
driver
to-
to any.
But you need to make that specific then.
In digitalization of the private sector, and it should not necessarily be very, I don't know, AI-driven or AI-powered tools, but start with the basics, because I strongly believe that digitalization is the key nowadays. We have what we have, and we need to be agile, flexible, and adapt to new realities. And the quicker we adapt, the quicker we will succeed.
Thank you. Armin?
If I answer philosophically,
Yes.
we need to invest in our dreams. But we need to think how these dreams will become a reality. And I think this is human resources, this is people, first of all, and this is infrastructure. For example, I am just now began investing in chip design, because this is the base of the base.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all.
George, magic wand.
Yeah, I would like to say that, investing in our youth, really the youth, and also I am really proud to see a lot of women in Armenian, companies and society. I've seen the talent of women. I would like that to be also a workforce in Armenia, not just, the men. But I like that. I see it. I go around the world that I see a lot of the percentage of women in the Armenian workforce is great. I like to see that continue. And also in education of our youth. And with AI, hopefully the Armenian nation will find the cure of cancer. That is also a dream of mine, to do something big for the world, to to find something that comes from Armenia.
On that note, thank you very much.